Time for round 3 of TEPCOTT Season 6. This race was themed as off-road, which basically was a rallycross track around the oil fields, and we were using the Retinue as the car for this round. After such a difficult round as the previous one was, I was excited to drive this, as the track seemed pretty fun to drive, and the car I enjoy very much, especially on like these dirt track things. At the same time, I knew that this was going to be a challenging round, given that the track was pretty narrow and had some challenging places where you could easily crash out or take someone else out. And especially with this division being this full, with all these cars on the track at the same time, it was pretty likely that there's going to be a few bigger crashes. But to my surprise, at least for me, the race was pretty clean. Like this first lap had some outings and small crashes and all that stuff, but overall the race was pretty clean, at least in terms of like contacts. Now I knew that I wasn't going to be overtaking people, or at least it was going to be very challenging, so I tried to plan around taking a good pit, and with the pit stop timing providing all these overtakes, with the idea being in mind that I could possibly get in the top 6, which would mean that I would be promoted back to Division 5. But I knew that that was going to be a challenge. Now the track proved out to be pretty challenging, with many places where you could easily spin out or go wide from a weird bump. But of course those were the ways where you could easily get some positions or overtakes done. Now during these opening laps, the field started to spread quite quickly, and I also noticed that there were a few faster drivers coming from behind me, so I knew I had to get some clean laps if I wanted to stay in this position. But I also was aided by being able to dodge smaller crashes happening in front. Now at the same time, every single mistake, like these small slides, would cost me quite a lot of time, especially with faster drivers chasing me. Now, just like the previous round, I wanted to take my pit stop pretty early on, because I felt like that was going to be the only way to gain positions from others pitting, as it would give me the possibility to just keep on driving, get this over with, and then just drive for the rest of the race. Now I did lose quite a few positions during that pit stop, but at the same time, since I knew that this was going to be pretty early on in the race, I could just focus on my driving and regain those positions that way. Now this track had few of these places where maintaining the control of the car was pretty challenging, which resulted in changing positions back and forth with few drivers that I drove against me. Especially in this middle part of the race, Parks turned out to be one of those. With both of us having some mistakes, and then the other was able to overtake from those. Now when we reached the halfway point of the race, people started to take their pits, which also meant that I was able to take some positions from that, as well as I was able to gain to people who were taking their pits, which also meant that I could actually try to challenge them. And as was quite evident in the earlier parts of the race, every single mistake gave the other driver an overtaking opportunity, just like what happened to Parks and Caleb here. Now from then on, I was able to put down pretty clean laps and break away from the cars from behind me, and that was pretty much the race. I managed to get a good clean drive, and unlike the previous round, this was actually fun to drive, even if the end result was one position behind the promotion spot.